This is Valley News Live at 5.
Welcome to Valley News Live at 5. I'm Justin Betty. It's another first alert weather day as our recent cold snap continues, and it looks like we'll ring in the new year with even colder weather. Let's go straight to meteorologist Nathan Hopper with your first look at the forecast. Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. And that bitter cold weather into the new year is why we have those first alert weather days raised. But today, as Justin said, we did make it above zero and actually felt not too bad. A light wind, above zero temperatures for some folks in the Southern Valley. It was manageable, but we got a beautiful photo here. This is our Luther Family Ford Skycam. A live look there. Traffic is heavy along I-29. Still seeing some slippery roads out there with some snow-packed and icy roads, so keep that in mind if you're still planning on to step out and maybe get some dinner for us on this Thursday evening. But you can see some sunset there as the sun is now dipping below the horizon on this Thursday. Look at these low temperatures. I want to bring this full screen. Take a look up toward the north along the Canadian border. Cavalier, Halleck, 29 below zero, but in Grand Forks, 9 below zero was that morning low temperature. This is what clear sky can do to a temperature on a night with fresh snow and cold, dry air. You can see just how much colder, 20 degrees colder north of Highway 2 into both Minnesota and North Dakota. 27 that low temperature this morning in Candu, 9 below for that low temperature in Fargo. So the clear sky up toward the north really did allow those temperatures to drop like a rock overnight. Here's how things look right now. Some clouds out there for most everybody. That may help tonight keep things not quite as cold as we saw our northern neighborhoods last night. We can even see some areas in Lakes Country still above zero, sub-zero still in Grand Forks, Fargo, Devil's Lake right at 1 degree below zero at this hour. And the wind chills, of course, it's not cold, but with just a light breeze, you can see those wind chills and how those wind chills are affected. 15 below that wind chill in Fargo and in Jamestown. For most everybody, wind chill warning starts at 6 p.m. tonight, so in about 1 hour this will take effect, and it goes until noon on Saturday. So we're expecting wind chills in this time frame in these areas as cold as 55 degrees below zero. So of course, Justin, we'll talk more about how cold things get and also look ahead to that New Year's holiday forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Nathan. And as the winter chill continues, make sure you have the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You get the latest forecast and conditions. You can plan your day. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store. You can download it for free. 3 children are now in protective custody after a Fargo toddler was found outside in that cold. Officers found the child yesterday morning, the 700 block of 23rd Street South in Fargo. 2 other children were found in a nearby apartment. It's unknown exactly how long the toddler was outside before being discovered. Police say the case has been forwarded to the Cass County State Attorney's Office for consideration of charges. A Devil's Lake woman is being charged with theft after police say she stole about $350,000 from her employer. Investigators say it happened while Nancy Lee Weaver was an employee at Eye Care Clinic Crane in Moen. Court documents state Weaver took the money between 2014 and 2020 when she was the office manager there. Investigators allege Weaver paid more than $400,000 to the Spirit Lake Casino and lost more than $325,000. 2 people are in jail following a fentanyl and meth bust in Red Lake, Minnesota. Police raided a home yesterday, finding half a pound of fentanyl and 2 ounces of meth along with cash. Officers say they arrested 2 women on drug charges. Their names have not yet been released. Fentanyl is linked to several deadly overdoses on the reservation. An outbuilding has some serious damage following a fire near Fosston, Minnesota. The Polk County Sheriff's Department says it started around 8 last night. About 3 miles north of Fosston, when crews arrived, they found insulation on fire inside a Quonset, a small steel structure, which is now serious damage. No one was hurt. Authorities say the fire does not appear to be suspicious. A juror in the Kim Potter trial says the jury felt she made an honest mistake in the killing of Daunte Wright, but they still felt Potter was responsible for his death. The former police officer was convicted of manslaughter. Potter claiming she tried to grab her taser when she instead fired her gun, killing Wright during a traffic stop. The juror said no one on the jury felt Potter was racist or meant to kill Wright, but they also felt that doesn't mean she's above the law. The juror said deliberations grew heated at times. Nearly every juror cried at some point. A woman claims working for TikTok caused her to develop post-traumatic stress disorder, saying she worked as a content moderator and spent 12-hour days reviewing disturbing videos, including ones featuring graphic violence against children and animals. She also says the company did not provide adequate protections or psychological support for the moderators. TikTok has not commented directly on this lawsuit, but said in a statement they, quote, continue to expand on a range of wellness services so moderators feel supported mentally and emotionally, end quote. One of the most recognizable symptoms of COVID-19, at least with previous strains, is losing your sense of taste and smell. Now, for some, that's a side effect that lingers long after their battle with COVID is over. Today, Valley News Team's JC Dodd learned just how dangerous and frightening that can be.
It's been almost a year since Sandy Sarajan was diagnosed with COVID-19. Her worst symptom?
Intense congestion. It just felt like cement in my sinuses.
Until one morning she woke up and couldn't smell anything.
Everything was gone. The world was completely sterile.
A few days later, she realized her world had been turned upside down. When alarms were going off,
Not being able to assess if there was an immediate danger or if it was a false alarm.
she began feeling like a child who needed adult supervision. A family member fearing for Sarajan's safety began trying to find ways to help. It led them to Karu Oils, an essential oils business based in Detroit Lakes. Jana Satterholm's journey with essential oils started long before the pandemic. As a medical massage therapist, she had heard of the benefits the oils can bring, but was skeptical.
I was concerned it was a pseudoscience and it was just a placebo effect.
She enrolled at the American College of Healthcare Sciences, where she learned
You can literally retrain your body how to perceive smells.
1 year into the pandemic, Setterholm began selling olfactory training kits.
From floral to citrus to spicy to resinous, which are 4 primary receptors we have in our brain.
It's used like physiotherapy. You exercise your sense of smell twice a day for 12 weeks. You take a deep breath in while smelling lemon, clove, rose, and eucalyptus, and think of what you remember they smell like.
The neurons in your brain to reconnect that disconnect.
When Sarajan first decided to give it a try,
The eucalyptus smelled like bleach to me.
but she stuck with the training and slowly started regaining her sense of smell.
I know that this helps me because when I stop, it goes away. And when I pick it up again, I not only gain what I lost, but after a week, I start gaining new smells.
Sarajan says it's something she's thankful she finally has control over again.
It really makes you realize how much your sense of smell informs your safety.
In Detroit Lakes, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, JC. These retraining kits cost $29 for the 4 essential oils. According to a New York Times report, the FDA plans to broaden eligibility for Pfizer boosters to teens aged 12 to 15, potentially within just a few days. This falls in line with what the CDC director said yesterday, noting the FDA was looking at boosters for adolescents and younger teens and said she was hoping to hear from them in the days and weeks ahead. If you had 2 doses of the Pfizer COVID vaccine, studies show you may not be as protected from Omicron as you are from earlier strains, but the booster restores that protection. A team at Israel's Ministry of Health looked at the blood from vaccinated volunteers, comparing Omicron infected cells after 2 doses and then 3. The study notes, even though it is less effective against Omicron, the 2 doses will still protect people from severe disease and death. Keep in mind, the Omicron strain in general is considered less severe than Delta, but transfers far more easily. Meanwhile, Johnson & Johnson says its booster dose protects people against severe illness from the COVID-19 Omicron variant. The single-shot vaccine has been criticized for being less effective and more prone to rare side effects than the other 2 shots. But one study from South Africa showed vaccine effectiveness rose 84% 14 to 27 days after a booster shot, and it stayed in that range for at least 1 to 2 months. Another study from the U.S. also showed the Johnson & Johnson booster had a strong immune response against severe disease. The company says the studies are now being submitted to a peer-reviewed journal. Prepare to pay extra for your favorite bubbly as you ring in the new year. Still to come on Valley News Live at 5. See what's making champagne more expensive these days.
And as we bring in the new year, first alert weather days through Sunday morning for that dangerous cold with those bitter cold wind chills. In Fargo, expect the clouds to keep things perhaps a bit more mild than they would be otherwise. Negative single digits for us through the early part of the overnight in Fargo. Same for our friends in Grand Forks, but we'll break down that full forecast next.